It was a bustling morning at Central Station, with crowds of people rushing to catch their trains, each wrapped in the daily chaos of life. Among the commuters sat an old beggar named Sam, his tattered clothes blending into the grime of the station walls. Sam had been at the station for years, a fixture ignored by most, except for the occasional commuter who tossed a coin into his worn tin cup. Sam was no ordinary beggar. He had once been a carpenter, known for his skill and craftsmanship. But life had been cruel. An accident at his workshop had left him unable to work. Bills piled up, his home was repossessed, and he found himself at the station with nowhere to go. Over time, Sam accepted his fate, surviving on the generosity of strangers. One day, as Sam sat in his usual spot, a man in an expensive suit walked briskly past him. He was tall, confident, and clearly successful. His name was James Carter, a well-known businessman and CEO of a flourishing company. James rarely noticed the people around him. His mind always focused on his next deal, his next meeting, or his next million. But this morning was different. As James walked past Sam, something made him stop. He turned and looked at the old man for a moment, his sharp eyes narrowing as if he were studying a business opportunity. Then, to Sam's surprise, James walked over and crouched down beside him. "You've been sitting here for a while, haven't you?" James asked. Sam nodded cautiously, unsure of what to make of this man. "Years, sir. This is where life has left me." James tilted his head. "Do you really believe that? That life has left you here?" Sam frowned, his pride pricked. "What else am I supposed to believe? I tried, but life didn't try back." James smiled faintly, pulling out a sleek leather wallet. Instead of handing Sam money, he took out a business card and placed it gently in the beggar's hand. The card read, "James Carter, CEO, Carter Innovations." "What's this for?" Sam asked, confused. "I'm not giving you money," James replied. "I'm giving you advice that's worth more. You may not see it now, but your situation isn't permanent. You're sitting here because you've forgotten your value. Life knocked you down, yes, but you've stayed down because you've chosen to. Here's my advice. Find one thing you're good at. It doesn't have to be big, just something you can do better than most. Start small and see where it takes you. That's what I did. The rest is up to you." With that, James stood, nodded politely, and walked away, disappearing into the crowd. Sam stared at the card, feeling both insulted and intrigued. "Easy for him to say," he muttered. "He's rich." But the words stuck in his mind. Find one thing you're good at. That night, Sam couldn't sleep. As he lay on the cold station floor, his thoughts drifted to his past. He remembered his days as a carpenter, the pride he felt when he shaped raw wood into something beautiful. He remembered the satisfied smiles of his customers. His hands may have aged, but could he still create something? The next morning, Sam decided to take a risk. With the few coins he had, he bought a block of wood and a small knife from a nearby market. Sitting at his usual spot at the station, he began to carve. At first, his hands were clumsy, his skills rusty. But as the hours passed, muscle memory returned. By evening, he had carved a small wooden bird. Its wings spread as if ready to take flight. A young boy passing by noticed the bird and tugged at his mother's sleeve. "Look, Mom, can I have that?" The mother approached Sam and asked, "How much?" Sam hesitated. $2? The woman smiled and handed him the money. As she walked away, the boy clutching the bird, Sam felt a spark of something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. Over the next few weeks, Sam continued carving. Birds, animals, small figurines. Each piece seemed to attract more attention. People began to stop at his spot not to toss coins, but to buy his creations. One day, a local shop owner noticed Sam's work and offered to sell his carvings in her store. "You have talent," she told him. "People love handmade crafts like this. Why don't you make more?" With her encouragement, Sam's small operation grew. He started earning enough to rent a tiny workshop and buy better tools. His carvings became more intricate, more detailed, and soon his work was in high demand. A year later, Central Station looked very different to Sam. No longer a beggar, he stood proudly in a new suit, holding a small box of his carvings for a meeting with a potential client. As he waited for his train, a familiar face appeared in the crowd. It was James Carter. Sam walked over and said, Mr. Carter, do you remember me? James paused, studying Sam's face. Then a smile spread across his lips. You're the man from the station. I am. And you were right, Sam said, his voice steady and confident. I found one thing I was good at, and it changed everything. Thank you. James nodded, clearly impressed. Well done. But remember, this is just the beginning. Success isn't a destination, it's a journey. Keep moving forward. Sam extended his hand, and James shook it firmly. As the train arrived, they parted ways, both moving toward their next chapter. The story of the beggar and the businessman reminds us that sometimes all it takes is a single moment of belief, a spark of advice or inspiration to change a life. Life may knock us down, but the power to rise again lies within us. All we need is faith in our abilities and the courage to take the first step.